What is with all these apologies today?
I only did approximately like 57 minutes of my homework.
You didn't watch all of the movie? The movie that you picked?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything.
But now it's up in the air.
I know.
Yeah,
I want to be transparent. I don't want to be that guy. So
it's
I'm
okay.
being this guy.
We now have it on record. Who is the host who does his homework all the way? Is me.
Yeah. I was gonna follow this up with some nice things.
Yeah, go for it.
You know, like how I figured this would be like one of those movies that'd be acceptable for since I've seen it 50,000 times.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't watch the new ending that was on?
Oh, there's
Netflix?
A new ending
on HBO Max. Yeah, the HBO X Max ending.
Stop. That's not real.
Grumble hasn't even seen the movie. What's happening?
Oh man, that's fine. I've seen it enough times for both of us.
All right, I'm angry. Let's start this podcast. I'm not actually angry, but anyway, hello. Welcome back, everyone. This is Ruining Movies, the podcast in which we, with you, wonderful audience, ruin movies. This week, we are talking about Hot Fuzz, Edgar Wright's second movie in the Cornetto trilogy, and one of my favorites. It is a must-see, like Tevis just said in chat. Yarp for the greater good. But before we get into ruining that movie and discussing it, we have some movie news to talk about. Not too much movie news. It's actually been kind of a slow week. But I do want to start tonight off, Shane, with this article I just finished reading before we started.
Okay. I'm ready. Lay it on me.
I'm just going to read. This is from The Guardian. I'm just going to read the title of this article. Russian man trapped on Chinese reality TV show finally voted out after 3 months. It is a episode of Black Mirror, but in real life. So Vladislav Ivanov, pretty much from this article, is he was a 27-year-old who got this like flyer to like try out a new life and go on this singing show, and he immediately hated it. But the thing is, people being people, didn't. I don't know if they didn't realize like he was miserable on camera, and he just kept telling people not to vote for him. Which, if anyone knows anything about the internet, if you tell the internet not to do something, they're going to do it. And he made it all the way to the finals.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was on. He was quoted saying, "Don't love me, you'll get no results." When like all the other competitors were doing like high pop, like great performances, he was doing like half-hearted Russian raps. And he kept saying, "Please don't make me go to the finals, I'm tired." And obviously signed a contract he couldn't leave. Without breaking it. And I guess the main thing about it is others like millennials and the generations younger than us, we love people who just are doomers, who hate life, who are just like, fuck the system. And I don't know if people thought that he was doing a bit there, being like all grumpy and anti-celebrity and stuff. So they kept voting for him, being like, hell yeah. But he made it all the way to the end.
Oh man, that's rough.
That is rough, but also like it is like a Black Mirror episode. It's just
actually,
that is like a nightmare, like an absolute nightmare. Signing a contract and then just like realizing you don't like what you're doing but being stuck and just begging people to kick you out, and everyone's like, "You're so relatable. We also hate doing our jobs." And it just keeps going. So.
Wow.
He's free now.
So, I guess, okay, I just thought of a topic based on that somehow we haven't spoken about in all the times we've had this podcast.
Yeah.
Because I guess it is similar if you want to think of it this way, although, okay, so we're going to talk about Britney Spears for a second.
Okay.
Because
I'm always done to talk about
I
Britney
heard
Spears.
that she had said that all the conspiracies and stuff are nonsense. But there's these like conspiracies that all of her Instagram posts and stuff are like embedded with secrets and codes that all call back to like her being set free. And I know that there's
Right.
the Hulu documentary about it. I'm familiar with
It's a
like the lore surrounding the situation.
very tragic, very
Yeah,
tragic
yeah,
thing.
it's not great. I haven't seen the documentary, but like I'm kind of in the know.
Yeah, I'm vaguely familiar with like her dad pretty much taking ownership. Like that's
Mhm.
such a crazy thing that someone can take ownership of like your person by making it
Yeah.
seem like you are mentally unstable and then just taking over all your money, all your like your entire
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
It's good that she is free now. I think the latest court case has freed her. But yeah, go ahead, keep going.
No,
That's all
I
I'm gonna
didn't
say.
know that. I was just gonna ask like what you thought about like the conspiracies around her like Instagram posts and stuff.
Well, I mean, there's
Um,
always those conspiracy. As someone who, God, it's weird saying you like conspiracy theories in 2021 because they've been hijacked by the worst people, and I mean they've always been
mhm.
hijacked by the worst people. Alex Jones, used to be like not as anti-Semitic, I
Yeah.
guess. But now, like, QAnon and stuff have really ruined conspiracy circles as someone who likes a good Bigfoot tale and a Mothman tale. It is really hard to get into
Yeah.
conspiracy things and, like, there's the whole, like, New World Order and Illuminati and stuff. And,
Yeah, it's like when you say conspiracy theories, people are like, "Ugh," and it's like, no, wait.
like, nah,
I
yeah,
just
I want to talk about, like, Bigfoot.
I just want to get weird for a second. Like I'm not
Yeah,
trying to like get, you know,
I'm not promoting Q, just,
yeah, yeah, it's not like that. I just want to like I want to go down the rabbit hole,
yeah.
not that whatever that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, apparently she had come out and said that um there was no conspiracy surrounding any of her posts. However, I'm positive that if you Google it, there's
I
just
am.
like a litany of people that are like, this is a crazy post by her, and it's like a picture of her. In fact, I know because I just watched a TikTok recently. It's just a picture of her in front of like some flowers, and someone was like, this flower means this and this means this, and it's like the Charlie wall, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia. Pepe Sylvia. and
Pepe Sylvia.
I'm pretty sure she said that like there's no conspiracies or anything, but it's just wild to see like the
It,
stuff that people come up with, I
it
guess.
is. It is. It's this weird phenomenon that happens with conspiracy theories. Like most conspiracy theories are rooted usually in something in real life.
Yeah.
Like that you can always find a tie to an event or something that happened. It's never as extreme or fantastical as the conspiracy theorist people want it to be, and they always have to think that like there's some greater evil behind it. Like the Britney Spears thing recently with her father was very real.
Yes.
The Instagram thing seems like extra drama that people just want.
Mm-hmm.
So they make it up in their heads, which is like the problem with conspiracy theories. Like there is this actual problem that Britney Spears has been dealing with that luckily it finally seems we're getting some light to it, but people don't. They want more to that. They want more of that drama, more of that
Mm-hmm.
just stuff.
Gotta fill their time.
Exactly, exactly. It's the weird parasocial relationship that like people get attached to other people's lives on the internet really easy, and then they just like look at everything they do and try to be
Yeah.
like, this is what's really happening, and it's just not good.
It is not
I
great.
No, I'm reading this article right now that Britney Spears clears up fan conspiracy theories, and it pretty much is just like what I said. She was like, no.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. That's why I prefaced with that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't
Tevis,
want
yeah.
anybody to think that I was like decoding Britney Spears'
Right.
Instagram because I'm not.
Right.
Um,
Tevisor just said, we want to distract ourselves from the real conspiracies, which is something I fully agree with, is that's usually what conspiracy theories are, is there is something that is very easy to see, but we want the more fantastical idea of a bunch of people sitting around a large circular table, like doing that weird thing with Mr. Burns' hands about all of our lives, and that's the reason why everything sucks, not because of other more blatant reasons. It's because of the Shadow Cabal, which is like, but yeah, which I think Britney Spears and the Russian man trapped. I am glad the Russian man is now free.
Yeah, these both seem like stories with decent endings at the moment.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I felt bad for laughing and then reading it and be like, that sucks.
Yeah. You were reading that to me and I was just fucking cracking up. And then, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, oh no, this guy, I feel bad. That's rough.
Yeah.
Had a rough go of it. For how long was he there?
I think like 9 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which it's like, it sucks because like how many times do you like, when you're younger, well 27, he's our age, like if someone's like, if you would like this new life and want to try this something out, I would probably still be like, sure, let's try it. But then getting stuck on a variety show for like 11 months is actually like a nightmare of mine.
Oh yeah, that's rough. I'm sorry. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, it seemed like an appropriate segue, but now I don't have a similar one.
It is.
Well,
so
maybe we'll just. Well.
Let me see. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Maybe we'll just knock this one out right now because it's. I know that it isn't our thing, but it is entertainment, so I'm counting it because though I didn't watch this week's movie, it's because my Saturday night was consumed with something else. As you all know, I'm a fan of UFC. I just have to talk about one thing.
We need to have like a little like UFC corner with Shane where you just take it over and I just agree. Yeah, I just nod my head and agree with everything you say.
Well, this is just crazy because like the poetry of this moment, right? So years ago, this guy, Chris Weidman, and this other guy, Anderson Silva, step into the ring, right? And Anderson Silva throws a kick at Chris Weidman, and Chris Weidman checks his kick, and Anderson Silva's leg breaks in half.
Oh, we're talking about that. Okay, I've seen
that. Terrible
moment,
right? Yeah. It is like a catastrophe in the UFC. It's honestly like 1 in a million. It's just bad luck. It's just bad for a fighter, obviously. Big sympathy to everybody that is involved in all these stories, but that was years ago.
Yeah.
So remember that name, Chris Weidman.
Chris Weidman, got it.
Flash forward to this last Saturday. Chris Weidman is in a fight with Uriah Hall. The first 30 seconds of the fight, Chris Weidman throws a leg kick at Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall checks it. Chris Weidman's leg breaks in half. The fight ends.
Yeah, that's so.
So it's again a super huge tragedy. Shout out to all the fighters involved. Best wishes to Chris Weidman. Hope you have a quick recovery and all that. But I just want to like the poetry of this, right? This specific thing, someone's leg breaking in the UFC, has happened 2 times.
Yeah,
ever.
That is absolutely actually
nuts.
The
UFC has existed since 1993.
Has it really?
Yeah. Both instances of this happening had the same man in the ring.
Dude, I would not get in the ring with that guy.
And he was on both sides of it. He broke a leg and then had his leg broke like years later. It's just I've just struggled to like wrap my mind around like the cosmic irony of this situation. And
yeah, that is pretty nuts. It's like the you hear of the story with the guy in Japan who was like in the city of Hiroshima, and then he survived the first atomic bomb and then drove to the other place that was also bombed and survived that. Which, yeah. Like, and there's like all those cases where like people are like in multiple plane crashes, get like struck by lightning like a couple of times. Like,
don't play the lottery, Chris Weidman.
Yeah, it's just like it's crazy how like statistically those things are pretty much impossible, but like you have abnormalities where like one person just is in the worst places multiple times.
It's such bad luck, and I feel so bad for laughing about it. I'm again, best wishes to Chris Weidman and his family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because it is entertainment related, and it was a huge part of my Saturday night, and one of the craziest things that I've ever seen.
Hell yeah.
So
yeah, that's yeah.
It
Talking about a fighter who has finally been knocked down. Go with me. I don't know if this is gonna make sense.
All right.
Citizen Kane loses its 100% fresh rating after 80-year-old negative review is found and added to Rotten Tomato. So again, we've talked about ratings don't really care. Don't really matter. I shouldn't say don't care, don't matter. But it is so funny that an 80-year-old negative review someone pulled from just to knock Citizen Kane out of 100% fresh. I'm gonna get a lot of flack here from film people who like film and movies. Citizen Kane is great, but it's not 100%. I'd say it's probably like 83. 85.
I might get some flack, but I've never seen Citizen Kane.
it's Citizen Kane is a movie that I think people should watch. It is really good. It has some really like, how do I want to say this? Really fantastic shots and really innovative shots for the time, and it is a good story. I mean, Orson Welles kills whatever he made. Killed whatever he made. But there's never anything that's like 100%. Like, and Citizen Kane has always been like hung over as like the greatest film of all time. It is great. I do recommend watching it. But it's not the greatest of all time. Hot Fuzz is, obviously.
That was gonna be my question.
Oh god, I guess if you had to give a movie 10 out of 10, 100%, nothing wrong with it. Chat, I'm gonna throw this out to you guys too. What is your 100% 10 out of 10 movie? Nothing could go wrong in it. You can watch it 100%. Everything is perfect.
Can I have the week to think about it?
You can. I'm going to throw out the Blade Runner Final Cut. I think Blade Runner Final Cut does nothing wrong. It is the perfect film. Tyvosaur said 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, I could argue probably that pretty much every Kubrick film is 100%. Like, doesn't miss. Is so great. 2001: Space Odyssey is definitely up there. I mean, I think 2001: A Space Odyssey is Kubrick's best film, and I'm like, The Shining is one of my favorite films. National Treasure from Grumble Now. I gotta say, National Treasure. I know there's people like nowadays who don't like it. National Treasure kind of rules.
Dude, it's a banger.
It's a banger. Like, if you haven't seen the first National Treasure, it's a good one.
It is. A lot of people give a lot of unnecessary flack to Nicolas Cage, I think.
I mean, Nicolas Cage, 10 out of 10.
Like
100% accurate.
I'm not gonna lie, like, the guy's had some stinkers, but who hasn't?
He's dedicated to his craft.
Like, even Robert Pattinson had Twilight.
Exactly. The thing is, if you are an actor like Nicolas Cage or an artist who does a film every year, you're going to have some that aren't good.
Right.
But
a man's gotta work.
But yeah, exactly. But then you have what, like Con Air, Face Off. Face Off is. I will fight anyone who says Face Off is a bad movie. I will fight people who don't like Face Off. There is
the movie from The Rock.
The
Rock is so awesome.
Yeah, Color Out of Space. Mandy.
Space was amazing.
Mandy is also, I think, his greatest performance. There was the one where he's a vampire. National Treasure.
National Treasure 2.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage is the man. He does it. He does it. So I guess again,
The Family Man is actually like my favorite Christmas movie.
Ghost Rider was great. I don't think I've ever seen Family Man.
It's really good. It's heartwarming and sad and everything, but it's good.
There's one film that is not Ghost Rider, because people are going to say Ghost Rider as soon as I describe this film that I saw with Nicolas Cage in it once. But he breaks out of hell by stealing a car.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does a bunch of crazy things. And like the most vivid scene from that movie is like he's having sex in the middle of a shootout, which is the most insane thing ever. Do you know what that movie is?
I can't remember what it's called, but I've seen it because at the end he goes off on like the mob or something. There's like a bunch of dudes in a cult,
Yeah.
and he just fucking murders everyone.
Yeah, and I remember that.
I don't know what it's called.
Like, there's like an angel cop chasing him too. It's. I need to know what this movie is. It is one of the most insane. Nicolas Cage.
Just go to his filmography. I'll know it immediately.
Drive Angry.
Drive
Angry.
Yeah. Wow.
That was 2011.
Cool.
I feel like no one's seen it, but it was pretty crazy.
He had some like interesting like cameo work too, right? I feel like he was in.
He just
like he's Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Which was cool. He played Superman in Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Well, it's because in the 90s, Kevin Smith wanted to direct a Superman film with him as the lead, and they have him with like test shots and stuff, but it never came.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Untitled Joe Exotic project. He's gonna be Joe Exotic.
Yeah, he's going to be Joe Exotic. I think it's a Netflix series coming out.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, he also has a pyramid that he's going to die and be buried in. Which is kind of nuts.
I know he owned an island at one point. I don't know if he still does, but he did.
Oh, I forgot
he lived on an island far away from lots of people.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are movies that I've watched like dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
He's in so many movies. Yeah.
But like, when I think of like a 10 out of 10 movie, I don't know.
I mean, I would say Hot Fuzz is up there too with me.
Yeah, you guys grabbed a couple. Hot Fuzz is good. Like you said, Kubrick is strong. I keep going back to The Shining in my head because I've seen it a million times and I'd watch it a million more.
The Muppets movie, the Muppets movie, the original one. 10 out of 10.
Dude, I know that you love the Muppets, but like I don't know if I've ever seen a piece of Muppets media.
Okay, I think we're gonna have to watch one next. Like, I'll have to see if they're on anything, and then we'll watch them.
They're on Disney Plus, I think, right?
They might be. Oh yeah, because I'm angry that Disney bought out the Muppets. I forgot that's something I'm angry
at. You were angry about it?
I forgot that I was angry about that. I'm angry at Disney about a lot of things. That's one of them.
However, on that note, another perfect segue in media this week. Disney purchased or came to an agreement with Sony, so now we'll be able to watch Spider-Man films on Disney Plus.
Oh my god! I just opened up Disney Plus, and I just got a thing saying they're increasing the goddamn subscription price. Leave me alone.
Yep.
Leave me alone, Disney.
Isn't it enough that you're everywhere that I look? I watch ESPN, owned by Disney.
They literally own everything.
Watch ABC, owned by Disney.
The Muppets, Disney. National Geographic, Disney.
Oh, there's actually... this was a weird thing. There's a Marvel MODOK show coming out.
I'm very excited for that.
I'm hyped for it, but the only reason I said it was weird is because of this like Marvel Disney contract, but it's like a Hulu original. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's more adulty. I have no idea how this fucking stuff works.
I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. They tried to do Ghost Rider and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they somehow made Ghost Rider CGI worse. It's because it's a TV show. But they did do the Ghost Rider that I do like, who has a car.
Honestly, I kind of liked the way that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider looked for it being on TV.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
I've seen clips. It wasn't... I mean, it's it's TV CGI. Like, you have to realize it's not going to be great. I'm trying to think. Okay. News-wise, let me try to segue into stuff. Like, this has been a pretty slow week for news. The Oscars happened. Don't really have much to say about that. Nomadland won. I'm very interested in seeing that film. It's kind of a shame that it's taken 93 Oscars for a woman director to win twice, seeing that from my point of view, I come from a point of the film industry that is experimental and Indian and stuff, and women kill it. And like more diverse, we need more people from other backgrounds making movies, so
For
we can get their perspective. So that kind of sucks that it took 93 to have 2. But I want to see Nomadland. That's like the only thing I have to say about the Oscars stuff.
Yeah, my dad said it was good. He watched it. I watched a little bit of it. It seemed very sad, so I didn't watch anymore.
Right. I saw. All right. I saw that Anthony Hopkins won for a Best Actor for being like in a movie about dementia, which is something I just don't like. I bet you he's great in it. It's just something I don't want to watch.
I heard he was like insanely good, but again, like I agree with you.
Like there's some things I just don't want to watch. That's one of them.
Yeah. I just want to say one of our local news stations put out a little Twitter poll for like who watched the Oscars and who didn't. And they had like over 500 people vote on their little poll. And like there was like 95% of people did not watch the Oscars.
The only time I watch it is if I can get together with a group of my friends and drink while doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I just I don't know, man. I've said it like every podcast. I think if you're interested in a movie and you want to watch it, you should form your own opinion on it. Who cares what the Academy or the Oscars or Emmy or any of those assholes think?
Right. I mean, I agree.
And I don't hate them personally. I'm sure they're fine people. It's just I don't even know their names. Can you name a single person on the Academy?
No.
Me neither.
You don't know them.
Right.
I mean, the Oscars, honestly, like, have a very bad past, too. The Oscars were created to kind of, like, stop workers from, like, getting rights. Like, that's why the Oscars were created, which people didn't know, so it's bad. Like, the Oscars have always... Yeah, the Oscars have, like, are not, like... They didn't just decide, oh, we need to be like, hey, look, this is all great. Like, it was... I can't remember the exact story, but it was, like, a workaround to stop, like, workers' rights.
I take back what I said. Maybe they're not great people. I don't know them. That's my point. They're just people with opinions, and I think you should form your own opinions on media, because, you know...
I will say the only thing that not the only thing. There's probably like some good things that come out of Oscars is the people who have their short films, short documentaries, the indie films who do win. They do usually get opportunities to actually make movies in the future. Like it is like if you are an independent filmmaker and you win an Oscar for like a short film or something, like that greatly helps your career. And that's the only thing I can think of is like applauding the Oscars is like it helps people who usually aren't going to get like the limelight. But it's like you can win Sundance and Cannes and all that stuff. I mean, I guess those are bad examples because if you win Sundance and Cannes, people are going to care about what you make. But if you win an Oscar, people are going to take your work more seriously, which is always good. But other than that, like Best Actor, Best like Picture, Best Screenwriting, like it doesn't matter. It's made up by it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know who votes on them, but usually they vote wrong.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't care who wins or loses. Even like I don't really participate in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't really like gear towards movies because of that. I have, I guess, but like it's not. Oh, like I don't go to the Oscars section of Netflix, and like go through them all and watch them. It's not like that big of a deal to me.
Exactly. Like I heard, like if you are like somewhat in the know of like the film world, you will know like all the movies that are like nominated for Oscars. You would have heard of them. Like Nomadland, I've already like heard of before the Oscars even appeared. But on that note,
I want to see Canary. Is that what it's called? Did I say that right? I don't know if I said it right.
I don't know, but maybe. The director of Nomadland is the director of Eternals. So last podcast I said, how soon after are we going to get a trailers from Disney Marvel saying from Oscar award-winning director? Yeah.
Tonight at midnight.
Yeah, really. All right, I got a segue. Okay, we got one. I feel like we're catching, like fishing for them. So talking about Oscar winners and Oscar-winning films, let's talk about Parasite because Parasite is getting an HBO series, which is interesting. I don't know. I think Parasite says everything it needs to. We'll say that again.
I haven't even seen the movie.
I recommend it. It's great. I think one of the greatest things to come from the Oscars is when the director of Parasite won, which I need to look up how to say his name because I don't want to butcher it because I'm very bad at people's names. We've talked about him multiple times. Bong Joon-ho. I can't believe I forgot his name. When he won, he pretty much just dunked on people not wanting to read subtitles, and what he was like, watch more foreign films. You can get past the subtitles, and he just dunked on a bunch of people, which I thought was pretty neat.
Good for him. Oh, he wrote Snowpiercer and
yeah Snowpiercer, Oju, Parasite, a bunch of other stuff. He's a great director. One of
Snowpiercer is like up there for me.
Snowpiercer is like fantastic,
So
fantastic film. The Host, which is a pretty good like monster horror. Grumble now. I'll get to your question after this, but I do think that is a good question. I do want to answer that. But anyway, Parasite is getting an HBO series, so that'll be interesting. But the funny part of this is they are making it clear, but it's set in the same universe. The universe of Parasite is South Korea. What does that mean? I get, like, film-wise, like, it's in the same cinematic universe, but it's just so funny saying, like, because Parasite is grounded in reality. So right. It's like saying Parasite is set in the same universe. It's just like, this universe?
It's set in reality?
It's set in reality. It was just such a weird word. Weird wording.
We talked about this in weeks past, how like everybody's trying to do that, like
do a universe, a
universe and have a thing. Why don't you just say you want to make a TV show?
You know, exactly. You know what's weird is I think like the first really cinematic universe that we really got, which there probably was ones in the 70s and 80s that I'm not familiar with. It was like the Kevin Smith cinematic universe. Because like Clerks, like Jay and Silent Bob, like they're all from the same universe.
Yeah.
And it was weird. Like I think God, what's that one movie he made that you can't watch anywhere? Just it has Matt Damon in it and
Mallrats,
Dogma, thank you. Which I think, like, those are also in the same universe. You can't watch Dogma, like, anywhere.
Why?
I don't think anyone took the rights for it. Because, it, like, I don't know. But, like, it's weird. The Kevin Smith, like, pretty much created the idea. Which, no, not talking Kevin Smith. I like Clerks a lot. But it's just, strange.
So... I don't want to be like the actually guy.
Yeah, hit me with it. If I'm wrong, hit me with it.
But I recently watched a little YouTube documentary that I found particularly interesting. It was on IGN's YouTube page. It was the Marvel Universe that the world forgot.
Oh, was there one before?
Yeah. So it started with Lou Ferrigno's iteration of the Hulk, and then like through the years it progressed, and like they had theorized this idea of tying everyone together, and they basically only made it as far as like Hulk and Thor.
I do remember the live action, like,
and then there was
Thor.
Like a Spider-Man live action that they were gonna try to intermingle into that, and so, and then later, not that this had a, so that was like just my example because that was in the late 80s.
Yeah.
So that was like what they called it, the MCU at the time that the world forgot about. But I noticed that there was an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. movie starring David Hasselhoff.
Yep, I'm aware of that one. Yeah.
I was not.
It's I mean, they're all so
as
bad.
Nick Fury.
Yeah. If you watch, I haven't seen them all, but I've seen clips from them. They are not. They
yeah, I watched a couple clips. It was pretty rad.
Rad's a way to I'm good with that.
I'm about to look it up really quick.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Oh, I was just looking at David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
Oh, okay. Well, so I guess So I guess the Marvel has tried that first, and then like Kevin Smith came out the '90s with like his film version, and then like.
But I mean,
boom.
Also.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Isn't I had also heard that Wayland Enterprises exists within the same universe as Die Hard.
Okay, you know. So I will say that is different. That is more like Easter eggs. Because Wayland Enterprise pops up in Blade Runner, Alien, probably Die Hard. I don't know where it pops up in Die Hard, but they're all Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
But I mean I think like because Kevin Smith actually called his cinematic universe something.
Right. This is true.
I think that's what I'm getting more at. It's the SQ invert. I don't know. It's something weird.
No, I hear you though. I get what you're saying because I don't know if it's not like Ridley Scott was like one day David Bowie, a xenomorph, and Bruce Willis will fight on top of the Nakatomi Tower.
Exactly. Yeah. Ridley Scott's good though.
No, he's great. I don't think that was ever his intention.
No. I mean, maybe
he wasn't trying to like build necessarily like a universe. Not to mention like, you know, the events of Alien and stuff took place like years in the future. So
also, I just said Ridley Scott directed Die Hard. He did not. So don't listen to me there.
Right. I didn't think. Okay.
That's why, I said that out loud, and I was like, "That's wrong." I don't know why I said that there.
But like that, I guess that's kind of like what makes it interesting, right? Because like if the events of Alien happen so far in the future, it's like, you know, sure,
right,
50 years ago or whatever, fucking John McClane was out there kicking ass. But again, this is like what you were saying about Parasite. It's like Die Hard is rooted in reality.
Right.
So
somehow
sure.
It is.
Right. Yeah, in a reality where you can kill a helicopter with a car as a normal police.
Somehow get like shot like 5 times in one night and still be okay. I love Die Hard.
It's great. It's just you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Talking about Die Hard, this isn't going to be a good segue. I don't even know what I was about to talk about.
We're trying. We are trying.
God, there was something I wanted to talk about. I guess, let's see. Oh, yes, kind of, okay. Let me see. I think I can make a segue. Talking about Die Hard, a series that isn't going to die anytime soon, or maybe it will, which I don't think it should die. God, that segue sucked. Actually, before we get into that, let's answer Grumble Now's question. Sorry, brain is everywhere tonight. Grumble Now says, speaking of celebrities, what do you think of celebrities losing their weird limelight because of the pandemic? I think celebrities have gone crazed due to the pandemic. More specifically, I want to talk about the Imagine video they did in the beginning of the pandemic. Do you remember that?
Where they sung the song Imagine?
Yeah, like all in their like super big mansions. And they were like, everyone get together and be happy and stuff. Yeah. Like people were like still had to work.
Right.
They were all like in their mansions like crying, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, go cry on your jet ski.
Yeah. I think the pandemic has affected Hollywood in a weird way. I mean, we're seeing that like a lot of the things have remained the same. I have this theory that because of the pandemic and a lot of studios losing money over this last year, that an unfortunate side effect of this is we're going to be getting a lot of safer movies coming on the next couple years. And what I mean by that is like studios aren't going to want to take a risk on lesser known celebrities or lesser known filmmakers or lesser known ideas. But trying to tie that to the weird limelight because of it, I don't know. I think the celebrities who are already solidified before the pandemic are going to be fine. The celebrities who became like famous during the pandemic, like Joe Exotic. I guess he's a celebrity, and like other like very strangely like celebrities tied to the pandemic, they might not have staying power. Especially like because we're on Twitch, there's a lot of people who became very, very, very famous over this last year here on Twitch because no one was able to go out. It will be interesting to see if they will be able to retain their notoriety, their famousness after the pandemic is over. But I don't know. What do you think, Shane?
I mean, like you said, the pandemic affected Hollywood in a weird way. So everybody kind of threw audibles, not just Hollywood, but like the world threw audibles. So like when these Hollywood stars couldn't make movies or shows, they made TikToks and went live on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like supplemented their income in that way. So it's like some people will have like really done well maintaining this fame. But I do think that some people are really going to struggle. Some people just probably like hung it up and were like, whatever, like I'll bounce back after. And like, I'm sure they will. And there are still like studios and stuff that are producing and doing stuff. You know, there is new media coming out. So there is opportunity to do stuff. But I think you're absolutely right. Like it's going to be... Prepare for the next Mission Impossible, everybody.
Right, which we are. We're getting like Mission Impossible 7. And it's also like this very strange thing too, like Mortal Kombat came out like last week, which we will talk about. We'll talk about that in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier after this last piece of news I want to talk about. But like it's also like doing the best out of any movie in the last year, and it's like a Mortal Kombat movie just because like people are able to go to theaters again. HBO Max is doing, which then HBO Max is like showing it like on their platform, which is also another interesting thing to come out of the pandemic with Hollywood and filmmaking and theaters, is like these online streaming platforms showing in theater movies like on their platform, which I know a lot of people were like, it's going to kill theaters. I don't think it's going to kill theaters. I think it's going to hurt theaters if it remains. It's
damaging relationships with theaters for sure.
I honestly, I like, if we're being completely honest, I don't think I would have wanted to spend money to see Mortal Kombat in theaters, but I was totally fine just hanging out in my pajamas watching it at like 1 a.m.
Copy that.
So like, it's this weird thing. Like, I want to see theaters still around. I think theaters are important. But at the same time, filmmaking has always been a medium that has always been changing. Like literally, the foundation of filmmaking was created on a bet. Literally, filmmaking was created because of a bet, and has always evolved since then. So, what I'm trying to say here is I don't like really agree with some filmmakers coming out and saying like this is going to be the end of like filmmaking. Like, there's some directors who are being very dramatic about this, but they're filmmakers. There was some, like, really famous directors who are, like, I think it was, like, Christopher Nolan and stuff, being like, if you don't see Tenet in theaters, it's like, all right, people have seen Tenet. I don't think the theater would change how nonsense it is. And just, like, talking about, like, the death of theater, and it's, like, you have to remember, like, barely over 100 years ago, people were putting their eye up to a little machine watching Nickelodeons of like a woman in a big dress like dancing, and that was filmmaking. So it will change, it will evolve. I think the pandemic I think it will have an effect on Hollywood, how things are made. Good question. And to anyone out there listening in the future or watching on YouTube later, if you have questions like this, join us on Tuesday nights and come ask your questions, because this is a conversation we want to have. So the last thing I want to talk about before we get into Mortal Kombat and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the trailer for the Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It dropped last week.
Oh yeah.
Or like a couple days ago. Maybe it wasn't last week. Maybe it was like 5 days ago or something.
Yeah, it looks pretty all right. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like hugely following the universe. I watched the first Conjuring, and I think I watched the second Conjuring,
Yeah.
but I didn't watch any of the Annabelle movies.
No, I didn't either.
I don't know if they're like relevant to what's going on in this one, though.
I forgot that there was like the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
I forgot they were like connected.
Universes.
Yeah, that would have been that. Damn it, that would have been the segue. Yeah. So I like the Conjuring movies. I think they, as someone who likes horror films, I think they're pretty decent. James Wan, the first one, was really good. I mean, the only thing about the Conjuring is I don't like the people who it's based off of.
Yeah.
Because, like, for those who don't know, the Warrens, it's like real people. Because the Warrens, the Conjuring is based off the Warrens, which they put based on a real story, true story in the beginning. Except the Warrens in real life just find people who are guilt-ridden because of tragedy and then take all their money by saying there's things that there isn't.
Huh.
Yeah, they're like the biggest con men. The Warren family, like the Warren couple, real life. They're like snake oil salesmen. If you want to find out more about that, you can just Google it and you will find a bunch about it. But on that note, I do think the Conjuring films are very good horror movies, like good modern horror, like good, I want to say like blockbuster horror movies. So the third one I'll probably see.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I know I've seen the second one, but it definitely doesn't like stand out in my mind.
The second one was the one in London, and it had the really tall guy who came out of the...
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah. I mean, they're directed by James Wan. James Wan, for those who remember one of our episodes a couple of weeks ago, is the director of Saw. So he is like... James Wan is an interesting director, because if you go onto his IMDb, his known for films are Saw, The Conjuring 2, Fast and Furious 7, and Aquaman.
Interesting lineup there.
Yeah. So...
And he's remaking Van Helsing?
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh.
The James Wan Van Helsing would actually be kind of rule, I think.
That actually sounds kind of... I don't know how accurate this source is. But
I mean, I'm
ears to the ground, people.
If he combines like The Conjuring and like Furious 7, I'm in.
That'd be sweet. I really liked the the Van Helsing movie with is it Hugh Grant?
Yeah, it's Hugh Grant. I think it's Hugh Grant, or it's some.
No, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Hugh
it's
Jackman
Hugh adjacent.
I really liked that movie. I haven't watched it in years though, and I kind of want to watch it now just to see if I'll hate it.
Oh my god! When I pull up Van Helsing, why does a trailer for Wolverine pop up? Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's my 10 out of 10 movie.
Van Helsing or Wolverine?
Oh, Logan.
Okay, Logan is a 10 out of 10. I would agree with that. Logan is great.
That
Especially
movie,
the black and white version.
Although it's so like, I'm kind of biased, like because I saw the very first X-Men movie in theaters and like
same.
kind of grew up with that. I grew up as Hugh Jackman grew old.
Yeah.
And grew into the Wolverine.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think
so I had this like emotional attachment to the character, but it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Logan is absolutely one of the best superhero films. Good, tragic. Anyway, yeah, so The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I'll probably watch it. I'm seeing that Spielberg is doing West Side Story. I do not care.
Because it's Spielberg or because it's West Side
Story? I like Spielberg. Like, I'm like not the biggest fan, but like if he throws out a film every once in a while that's like really good, like he's a good filmmaker. I'm gonna talk about when we talk about Hot Fuzz. He's a filmmaker who loves making films and who loves like film. Like I'll talk about it in Hot Fuzz what I mean by that. But like, I guess West Side Story is something he's always wanted to make because he grew up with it. I just don't care for West Side Story. I don't think. I don't know what it's about. It's the guy it's when they snap right at each other.
Yeah, it's like show tunes.
Right, and I like musicals. Like I like Les Mis.
What's that song that they sing in
I just
Anger
know
Management?
I'm so pretty. No.
Yes,
Wait, is
it
it?
is.
Is that a
I'm
West
like
Side Story?
99% sure that's from West Side Story.
All right. I will say the cinematography in the trailer though is really nice. Is really good. Visually it looks really good. I don't know. I like musicals. I just don't know if I want to see West Side Story. Which I could be wrong.
Which Cats?
I still need to see Cats. I want to see Cats though.
I have not seen Cats either.
I want to be inebriated though.
I don't blame you. It's just like I don't know. I love Idris Elba, and I feel like I'm just gonna like be laughing at him, and I know he's like really trying because that's what he does.
Right.
And that makes me feel kind of bad. So I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, no, completely. I get it. So I'll say I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so let us transfer over. What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about Mortal Kombat or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? You've seen both of them, right?
Indubitably.
Okay.
I feel like at this point I will have less to say about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just only because like I feel like I've said it all and like it all kind of buttoned up the way that I literally predicted stuff on the last episode. It's in writing, on film.
Absolutely. Hello, The Fifth Element. Saying Hot Fuzz is one of my favorite movies. It can't possibly be ruined. Oh, don't worry. When we change the genre, we will ruin it. How are you? I'm good. We are doing good. We are just recording the podcast. We're talking about the news. We're about to talk about Mortal Kombat and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then we're going to ruin Hot Fuzz. And for anyone new here, what we mean by ruin is there's a poll that you guys can vote on where we have to rewrite that movie, Hot Fuzz, the movie of the week, in a different genre. Prequel, sequel, remake. Hot Fuzz is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think Shane, same. So I'm excited to talk about it. But I am doing good. Shane, how are you doing?
Doing well. Banger of an evening.
And I hope you're doing good too. The Fifth Element, also. Good movie.
Oh, fantastic. We were talking about Bruce Willis earlier.
Yeah, we really were. Great movie.
And that was like Mia Jovovich's breakout role. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Here, Shane, I'll talk to you so you don't have to be lonely. I'm not lonely. I have our entire community at my side.
The entire audience, the millions watching us right now. All right, millions, let's talk about Mortal Kombat. What can we say about this movie?
I can say it all in like 2 sentences.
Yeah, hit me with it.
This movie is basically the first 3 Mortal Kombat games spelled out so you can understand most of what the fuck is going on. And it sets up for more movies. 4 more movies, to be precise. And they do their little twists on stuff. There's some weird twists in here. Not like movie twists like, I See Dead People, but like they have changed things, I'm pretty sure, from like the source material, like the little dragon tattoos
and them leveling up.
Yeah, that was kind of hilarious. There was like a lot of like weird funny stuff. I feel like this movie was really good if you could just slap a goofy smile on your face and just kind of enjoy it. This movie's really self-aware.
Yeah.
And it's giving you what you want.
Yeah, this movie is a movie that if you don't think more than 5 seconds about it after you are done, you will have enjoyed it. Because once you start thinking about the plot, the script writing, the dialogue, anything making sense, it falls apart. But I still think it's a fun watch, and if you can watch it, watch it. I mean, just to see, Kano's the best character, right?
Kano is like the fucking standout star of this movie. He had me cracking up.
I do have to say though, like the idea of making a just random person to be the star of your Mortal Kombat movie. I'm not saying like random person like actor wise. I'm saying like making a character that is not in any of the games your lead, and then making them as boring as they did.
Talking about Cole.
Yeah, I forgot
Cole
his
is
name
the
actually.
most fucking boring character I've ever seen in a movie.
Like, just it would have been better if we were following Sonya Blade. It's like she was trying to like get the rest of the champions.
Yeah, I don't. I hope that he dies in the next movie, and I think he might.
Like, I thought he was gonna become Scorpion, which I would have been like cool, but like,
That would
what
have
was
been
his
alright. That
power?
would
Is
have
he
been
got
better
like
than fucking keeping Cole
he got
around.
a golden shirt?
Oh, good for you. You look like shit forever.
Right. But beside that, is a fun movie. I mean, Kung Lao. I'm a dirty Kung Lao main, so being able to see my stabby hat boy on screen, even though they killed him.
But he was uncorking fucking bombs in
Dude,
there, dude. He sliced that lady up.
My favorite fatality in all of Mortal Kombat was in this movie. The one where Kung Lao like makes a saw blade with his hand and just rips someone in half. That is my favorite fatality. It's like
by him standing up and saying fatality.
Dude, I loved. That was so cheesy, but I love that. Especially
That's
like
the thing. Like if I just smile through it, I'm like, this is good.
Yeah, when Kano rips Reptile's heart out and says Kano wins. Like it's just. And then someone brought up the fact that Scorpion is like from like feudal Japan, but when he gets back to Earth, he says "get over here" in perfect English.
He's been in hell for 4,000 years.
I don't think they were speaking to each other in hell.
Maybe not.
But I mean, the fight scenes between Scorpion and Sub-Zero were 100% worth it.
Yeah, that was cool. The whole like third act of the movie was interesting. I don't know. I like the fights. You know,
the fights were good.
This makes me want to like go back to the whole like Kong versus Godzilla thing, right?
Right.
Like just get your Cole off the fucking screen. I don't care. Like and there was actually a scene that literally like it visualizes how I feel about this character. You have Scorpion and Sub-Zero just squaring up, going off, like in the forefront of the screen. It looks like the Mortal Kombat video game. It's shot from the profile view, so it literally looks like that. And in the background of this profile view is Cole just punching a piece of ice. Just over and over and over. I mean, his family's in it, I get it. But I'm just like, this is how I feel about this character. He's just going to stand and punch a stupid thing until he disappears from this series of movies.
Right. Yeah.
He's the humans to my Kong and Godzilla.
Exactly. Except like he was uninteresting. I do have to say, it seems like whoever wrote or directed this like actually played Mortal Kombat, which was kind of nice. Like the whole, I think my favorite joke of the entire movie is when Kung Lao and Kano are training and Kung Lao keeps sweeping the leg. Like just your normal Mortal Kombat spam. And Kano says, "Is that the only fucking move you know?" Which I like actually laughed out loud.
So did I.
But yeah, I mean, if you played the games and it's no better than the 94 Mortal Kombat.
What? You don't think it's better? I think it's so much better. Let me just remind you that the 1994 Mortal Kombat was rated PG-13, and the follow-up was infinitely worse.
It was more cheesy, and like it was a bad good, I think. Like it is a bad movie and more enjoyable. I don't know. I think they're level, because I think the whole main character for this new one is just so boring.
I think that if the gang got together and watched either of these movies, like the first Mortal Kombat or this Mortal Kombat, we would have equal amounts of fun.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
it's like
I feel that. If we watched Mortal
fun.
Kombat Annihilation, we would probably break the DVD player.
No, we would actually
that
fight each other.
So bad. Yeah, we would just have real life Mortal Kombat in the living room.
Also, my favorite take on this movie is like, how are you going to have Mortal Kombat and not have a tournament? I know they're setting it up.
I see what they're doing. I mean, the Sub-Zero character guy signed on for like 4 more movies.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be like next movie tournament, and then like basically a 3-part like war.
And then we're probably gonna get a Sub-Zero like solo film.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising. at
Which
all if it was a 2-part war and then a Sub-Zero film.
Yeah, originally for the movie of next week, I was going to say we should watch. God, what is his name?
Please not Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
No, it was gonna be the Raid Redemption.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it's literally not streaming anywhere.
Oh.
So we're
I
not
will
gonna watch
say
it.
one of my favorite parts in Mortal Kombat was when Kung Lao and Liu Kang went back to back, prepared to fight against Shao Kahn and his armies.
Yeah.
There's a soft spot for me with the Shaolin. They're, you know, I just like nostalgically speaking, I played a lot of Mortal Kombat, but like in my mind, I distinctly remember the Shaolin Monks game, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Yeah.
And you got to play as Kung Lao and Liu Kang, and it was like kind of about them, and they do have a really cool story, you know, and it was just sweet to like see them on screen that way, since Kung Lao, I don't think, has been on the screen. I don't think he was in either of the other movies.
No, I think this is his first time, which Kung Lao rules. He's the best.
He's
the best.
Sweet, and he's such a huge part of like Liu Kang's story, even in the video games. Like they go to the temples together and they do a lot of stuff together. It was sweet to see them on screen that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you like it, you like it. I will say, if you don't like the games, I wouldn't recommend you watch it, because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's an action-packed, gory mess. Like,
yeah, the gore was nice.
Yeah,
it's a weird sentence, but
I mean, nice. There was some parts when it was like they dumbed it down a bit for some of the other parts, probably. You know, like some of the Goon fights were a little not as gory, but then you had some other ones that were like a little more wild.
Yeah, Gordo looked pretty cool.
Gordo.
Yes, next movie, there's twin brother Gordo. What's up, Goro God? All right, well, that's Mortal Kombat. I have literally nothing else to say about it other than
that was a terrible way to kill Goro, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. They're all gonna come back. That's like every game, like they come back. Everyone comes back.
Yeah. Well, Kano for sure is.
Yeah, I mean, Kung Lao is probably gonna. Even though the best line in the entire Mortal Kombat, when Cabal says he's sucking his soul, is one of the worst lines I've ever heard uttered in any movie of all time, which is just so funny. Yeah, Kano's definitely gonna come back. I mean,
oh yeah.
I guess the last thing I have to say is like the whole like lore world building of like people like getting their powers. Their Arcana is so weird. Like literally, Jax's Arcana was like the robot arms he had were just got bigger. Like, what if he didn't have those robot arms? Like, Kano's was just he can shoot a laser out of one of his eyes.
Like, so my theory is that, you know, he got stabbed in the eye, so next time he's just gonna come back with like a metal face.
Right, like the actual Kano.
Yeah, but like it kind of looked like it might have already been there. Tell me this guy like lived his whole life just to learn about Arcana, just to learn he's got a fucking metal skull.
Right. Yeah,
or a laser eye. Where the fuck do laser beams come from? Because it's not like an organic fucking laser beam.
And then Sonya Blade can just like shoot lasers out of her hands now.
Oh
which
gosh,
I mean, we did get that cool shot, which was another like fatality that I do like, where you like shoot a hole through your body.
Yeah. Although if there was one complaint I could make, it's that there are some pretty cool like I guess that's what we're saying. Like they'll probably come back, but like if you go under the assumption that they don't come back, we have lost some pretty awesome characters immediately in this like possibly 4 to 5 part movie series.
Right.
You know, Kano, I'm like 99.99% sure he's coming back. Goro though was pretty fucked.
Back.
His insides were on his outsides.
Yeah.
And he got left in Earthrealm. You know, that other chick is probably pretty fucked.
Yeah.
And she was there. Those are both like pretty relevant characters. It was I can't remember her name. Morgana. Morgan.
The one with the teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
You know, the one with the teeth.
Yeah, the one who always had blood all over her mouth for some reason. Even though she
eaten face somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway,
no, yeah.
those are like key players in, the higher tower of Mortal Kombat, I guess.
Yeah. Katana did not appear in Mortal Kombat. Her fans were there though. Grumble.
Yeah. Her blue fans were there.
Blue fans. I mean, they're gonna do a Mortal Kombat made a lot of money because there's no other movies out right now, so they're gonna make more, I think.
Wonder Woman was. Never mind. Forget it. Carry on.
That was also the pandemic movie is not great. There hasn't been anything that's blown me away. That I can remember. All right, so yes, Melina is the bitey one. The bitey one was in there. Yes, the bitey lady was in the movie.
She sure was.
All right, so let's keep going to another slugfest of a show / movie / episode. We got the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or as the end screen tells us, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And Shane, I think you said it earlier in this episode. I think we've said everything we have to say. It was solid.
Yeah, I think this episode kind of speaks for itself, especially considering all the things that we've said. And in terms of like predictions, I don't know. I guess we were like not actively predicting anything.
No,
we were just kind of saying where it was headed, and like, it was an action buddy movie, and it all boiled up after the 5th episode. So in the 6th episode, as we said last week, it boiled over.
Yeah,
and it was awesome, and then it resolved, and it was heartwarming, and that was it.
I mean, I think I have the same complaints as I did it with one. I still have more complaints about WandaVision. I think this was better than WandaVision. I mean, it felt rushed. The dialogue
did have some weird pacing.
It had weird pacing, very very noticeable weird pacing. A lot of the dialogue was very hammy, very very cheesy. I was very skeptical on how Disney was going to handle everything with the politics they were doing. I think what they were going for, they hit it.
I really think they nailed it. I liked Sam's speech. It was like a good parallel to, the last Captain America.
Right.
It's just, I think Sam owned the mantle. I think it's good for the character.
Yeah. I think Bucky is my favorite. His actor dude did a great job, Grumble says. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Bucky in this film. I shouldn't say I'm not the biggest fan. I think he was good. I just I really liked John Walker's character arc the best out of it all, and I ended up really liking Sam's arc. Yeah. Everyone's arc. So, Bucky's was just the least interesting to me, even though I think it was still good.
I really, really like Bucky.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem. I really like Bucky, but I feel like he was incredibly underutilized. The show is called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It felt like it could have been called Falcon with the Winter Soldier.
Falcon featuring the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, like he was more of a sidekick than like another part of the show. I feel like when they were doing Bucky things, it was like way less relevant or important than like when other stuff was going on.
Yeah.
So he felt a little sidekicky at a lot of points, and that just kind of sucks for me personally because like I really do like Sebastian Stan, and I really do like the current Bucky character arc and all the shit he's gone through and like where he is now. I think it's pretty sweet. I
think
so. I think he could have used a little more love, is all.
I think the main complaint I've seen, which is something I can't like disagree with, is that there was too many like plot lines going on, too many stories.
You say you do disagree with it, or you can't disagree with it?
I can't disagree. I agree with that. I agree that like if you have 6 episodes and you have so many, like I talked about how I liked all the storylines, but like with the case of Bucky, it's really hard to have a satisfying story when you have to finish up the 6 that you've created.
Right.
I think again, like I said this in WandaVision, I don't know why Disney is doing these shorter series. Like I know why they are, it's a money thing, but like if this would have been 8 episodes, I think it would have had more it would have been more like it was a satisfying ending, but it would have been more satisfying if we had a little bit more fleshed out, especially John Walker's character. Like I really liked I like U.S. Agent.
Yeah.
Like I don't like what he does, but I think he had the most compelling storyline. It was tragic. It was relatable. It wasn't your traditional like twirling your mustache bad guy. Like, and going forward, like he's being manipulated. Like I still think like he's being manipulated as the U.S. agent by Lady Hydra.
100%.
Like, so I'm excited to see where that goes. But his like immediate switch in this last episode, being like, I killed a guy, I hate everything, I want to do everything, and then like this episode being like, I really want to be a good guy. Like, I wish that was longer. I wish there would have been more struggles before that immediately switch. But like I said, when you're trying to juggle so many balls, you're gonna drop a couple or fumble. But other than that, like I said, solid. I think it was better than WandaVision because it knew what it was doing. It finished all the way through. For those who are new to the podcast or listening, my main problem with WandaVision was they tried to do something really unique and interesting, but in the end, they just went back to their traditional MCU roots and threw laser beams on each other.
Started blowing shit up.
Yeah, I think if WandaVision stayed unique and experimental throughout the entire thing, I would have enjoyed it much more. And then we talked about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Knows what it's doing, so it's going to do it well, and it did.
Yep. So I don't disagree with what you said about it having some more stuff.
Yeah.
Like it would have been nice to have seen some more development. Because, as I said before, this is supposed to be bridging the gap. It's supposed to, in theory, make me really fall in love with these characters, or at least invest myself in them in some way, so that when the next phase comes forth, you know, I can really care about what's going on with these characters. And right now, it's like, I really care about what's going on with John Walker. I care a lot about what's going on with Sam, since he's the new Captain America. And then, like, I got Bucky kind of playing second fiddle, where I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll be interested, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like, in terms of the story, me personally, I'm very excited for everything. But it's like the way they set it up, it's kind of like, you better pay attention to, like, John Walker and Sam and Zemo.
Right.
And then, like, in terms of, like, the rest of these really badass characters, they feel like they kind of took second fiddle.
Right. And I guess, okay, I just got one more complaint, I guess. Maybe it's just because I didn't understand. I truly did not understand the Flag Smashers. Like, I understood their motives as a whole, but I just don't understand what they were doing this last episode.
They were trying to stop a vote.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like, it felt like they were just Hail Marrying everything.
Yeah,
though.
They absolutely were. That's exactly what they did. And it was like, I don't know, if Carly had just taken a breath and like chilled the fuck out for like a little bit, they might have had some more success. And she also, there was part of me at every point up until this episode that like the quote unquote antagonist of this show was someone I could empathize with.
Yeah.
And then she was like, we could just kill the hostages. And I was like,
yeah, that's another thing. Like Flag Smashers was very relatable. And then, you're right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and we both agree on this. Like, Disney, you have the money, spread it out a little bit, take your time.
2 more episodes, and like I think they would have been on the money.
Yeah, 2 or even 1. You could have even had 1.
I also think maybe that Sam, at a certain point, was maybe empathizing with her a little too much, which made it a little hard for me to be like, what's happening here? And I get it. Like, I understand why. You know, I can see what's happening, but it's like, this lady's gonna kill fucking hostages, man. Like,
right.
She said it. I know you didn't hear her say it and stuff, but like, she's very dangerous. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I have one final thing that I want to say on this, and it's fucking crucially important because we're gonna get it on film again. Number 1, I predicted correctly that Sharon Carter would be the power broker.
You did.
Number 2, I'm making another prediction. This Sharon Carter is a Skrull.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
I can't say I don't think you're wrong. I think that's definitely a possibility. I really hope it's not a Skrull. I really like that Sharon. I really like that Sharon Carter is being like realistic. Like she was thrown out to the wolves and then she becomes
Oh,
a power broker. I like that storyline. But with Secret Invasion coming up, we're actually just found out there's going to be a Captain America 4 coming out soon. Not soon, but they're writing it. So like a couple years. Shouldn't say soon. I could see definitely her being a Skrull. I really hope she's not.
I can agree with you completely for all the same reasons. I think they've built a really cool character here for someone that makes like a good I was gonna say anti-hero, but she's definitely not an anti-hero.
She melted that dude's face.
Yeah, so I think she's, suiting up to be like a pretty awesome bad guy with some solid motives. Yeah. So they could play that really well. But also, with that in mind, it kind of would make sense if she was a Skrull. I mean, like, why would she take a pardon and jeopardize her, career and stuff? I mean, I get it. Yeah. She's pissed or whatever, but I don't know.
I mean, last prediction I made was Ghost Rider was going to appear in WandaVision. I'm still mad that didn't happen, even though there was no basis for that.
I'm 1 for 1 right now. Clip it! Somebody clip it!
Don't clip anything I ever say because that'll be wrong, because I just throw out things I want to happen.
I try to use just a tiny bit of logic, just a wee bit.
Give me Ghost Rider. Yeah, all right. So I think solid. Loki is coming out in like a month.
Oh yeah, I'm real hyped.
Should be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for Loki. I'm a big Tom Hiddleston fan, and I really like the characters.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, wow, he's classically a great person in my life.
Yeah. Should be good. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm excited. The thing is, though, like I kind of want to come at this with a similar attack that I did WandaVision, because as we said, what's that?
Optimistically cautious.
Yes. Because like we said before, we kind of knew what to be expected with this Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and with WandaVision, it was like, we don't know what's going on, and then as it came out, it felt good, and then it just got worse. So, like, I don't know. I'm just cautiously optimistic is like a perfect phrasing for what I'm feeling right now. My chin's up, but so are my dukes.
Absolutely. All right. So, I don't think there's any crossover between anyone and Loki and Hot Fuzz, but it is that time of the night. The time of the podcast where we are going to talk about the movie of the week, which is Hot Fuzz, Edgar Wright's.
Actually,
yeah,
I got a good segue.
Hit me with it.
And to cross us over from the MCU to Hot Fuzz, Everett Ross was, the CIA agent from Black Panther and stuff. Stars as one of the police sergeants in the opening scene of Hot Fuzz.
Martin Friedman.
Martin Friedman, but his name is Everett Ross in.
Oh,
the MCU.
Yeah. That is true.
He plays Police Sergeant someone.
Met Sergeant. He doesn't have a name.
Met Sergeant. That's hilarious.
But yes, we are talking about Hot Fuzz. Welcome to my TED Talk about Hot Fuzz being Edgar Wright's best movie. But anyway, we are... God, okay. So, we watched Hot Fuzz. I mean, I watched all of Hot Fuzz. Shane watched 50% of it.
It's worth noting, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. Most recently, like, within a month.
Hot Fuzz, I would argue, and I will argue, is Edgar Wright's greatest movie. That is not saying I think his other movies are bad. I just think Hot Fuzz is the best he has created. On that point, there's so much I could talk about this movie, like doing right. This is a film this is a film that shows that the director is proficient at filmmaking. Every basic core concept of filmmaking is taken by Edgar Wright, done to perfection, and then thrown through his own wacky device to make it Hot Fuzz. It's hard to. I'm trying to think of where I want to start. So let's start at the beginning. So I guess let's go through the plot line of Hot Fuzz. First of all, why this movie is amazing. I checked last night when I watched it. 6 minutes and 32 seconds. You know everything you need to know about Nicholas Angel through exposition and montage. You do not need to know any more about Nicholas Angel, the main character, after those 6 minutes. Literally, we learned that he is one of the best police officers in London. He is dedicated to his work so much that his partner is leaving him. We find out that he wants to keep doing police work, but all the higher ups don't want him there anymore because of how much of like a pencil pusher he is and how by the book he is. We find out he has been stabbed, and we learn everything about him in 6 minutes and 38 seconds. He is the straight man of this movie, and when I say that, I'm not talking about sexuality. I am talking about the person who is going to be surrounded by all the goofy characters, yet he is going to be playing it straight and narrow. The first 6 minutes of this movie are how you do exposition correctly. It is how you set up a movie correctly. It is how you use montage correctly to show, not tell. Even though it's a weird combination of showing and telling. Like, we have the narrator talking about everything that Nicholas Angel does, all his certifications and stuff. But at the same time, we see him standing at the train station with his plant, and we can see that he is miserable, which they don't say. Again, first 6 minutes. I timed it last time because I wanted to, the last viewing last night, because I wanted to see how efficiently this movie is. It's a 2-hour movie, 6 minutes. We don't really need to know much more about our main character.
That's pretty good. Solid ratio.
Yeah, it really is. He gets into the small town. Again, for those who haven't seen Hot Fuzz or any of Edgar Wright's films, every scene he has, everything he shows you has purpose. We see after those 6 minutes, he is now in the small town. I can't believe I'm forgetting the small town's name. It is something very generic. But he passes by the model town in a big sign, which is where we end the film. We also have one of my favorite bits in the film is when he is checking in at the hotel. And again, laying out what this movie is going to be about, the receptionist is doing a crossword. She says fascist, and he's like, huh? They're like, there's a great misunderstanding between the words they're saying, kind of like fascist, hag. Yeah. I mean, it's true Edgar Wright humor. It's that British humor.
Yeah, it's very dry.
It's very dry.
Responses oftentimes.
Yeah. He then goes to get a drink. He doesn't drink. He gets cranberry. Just cranberry juice, I guess.
Just cranberry juice. Sometimes he gets a lemon in it, though.
Yeah. And then he arrests the entire tavern, pretty much. Well, he kicks the entire tavern out. I mean, we get some of my favorite part of this scene is when he goes up to the kid with braces. He's just like, age. He's like, oh.
Yeah, what year? Every year.
Yeah, like this movie's also like one of the most quotable movies. And
there's so many little zingers that just get me every single time. Like I watched like an hour of it yesterday, and it got me every time.
And they all have lead ups. Like everything is a callback. They don't tell me nothing. Like he says that like 3 times throughout the movie, and every time it's just funnier. When the Andy is, you do know there are more guns in the country than in the city, and then fucking everyone and their mums is packing around here, and then Nicholas Angel says like who, and he says farmers, and then says farmers' mums, which is actually, it's a joke that like the ending of this movie, everyone is packing.
All the farmers, all their mums.
Yeah. You also
I love the antagonist in this film.
Yeah, Skinner.
Man. Yeah, like I should say the primary antagonist, Skinner. He's just so fantastic. Like, it's talking about like the first 6 minutes of exposition that tell you everything you need to know. Every time this guy talks, he tells you exactly what's going to happen, and then he just leaves the screen.
Yeah, exactly. It's that Edgar Wright foreshadowing. Like what I said about his filmmaking. He knows how to make a film. He has perfected it. And then he throws all these, like, the frosting on top that makes it an Edgar Wright film. Like, he knows how to use montage. He knows how to use the basic storytelling of foreshadowing. The basic storytelling tool of foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he is doing, and he has perfected it. And this is going to be the callback to earlier where I was talking about Steven Spielberg loving films. Edgar Wright, I have read a bunch of his interviews. I've listened to a bunch of his interviews. He is a very influential director to me, just because of his films are just so clever and so well done, so well crafted. It really is someone I look up to because his films are so great. He just knows what he's doing, and a big part of that is he, in all his interviews, he loves films. And Hot Fuzz, I would argue, is the greatest homage to action films that has been created. Because deep down, Hot Fuzz is a homage to buddy cops, to action films, to Die Hard, to Bad Boys 2, to Point Break.
Yeah.
They're all referenced in it because those are the films Edgar Wright loves. So he took what makes those movies so good, brought them all over, perfected them, made this movie, and then threw on all his humor to it. And that is Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, he took something like commemorative and disguised it as a comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful, honestly. Like, now when you spell it out that way, like knowing the context of like this guy and his like passion for what he does, like, because you can see it all throughout the film, like between the foreshadowing. Like, they even talk about how they're going to watch these movies, and they watch these movies, and then they do the thing from the movies.
Exactly.
You know, he does shoot his gun in the air and go, "Oh!"
Exactly.
And it's great, and you can see that. So you can see like the passion and the love, and then he does have. It's like it's disguised as a comedy, but it's not even really a disguise. It's just part of.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to keep going off of the filmmakers who love filmmaking is Steven Spielberg is the same. All his interviews, he always talks about. As a kid, he and his family would get a projector and they'd watch it on the side of the house. That is why he always makes movies like Super 8, or like Indiana Jones, or E.T.
Sure.
Those are like all homages to the epics of early Hollywood. That's why his films feel very Hollywood. Like, Steven Spielberg is the Hollywood director because he knows what like the golden age of Hollywood was. He took it and just modernized it.
Right.
There's one other director who is exactly like this, and it's Quentin Tarantino. He used to run for those who don't know, Tarantino used to work at and I think run a Blockbuster, or a generic video rental, and he would just watch movies. That is, first of all, why Tarantino has the social awareness of a rock. Because he only watches movies, and is really weird to talk to, and his interviews are always so strange. It's because he has enveloped himself in filmmaking and films, and you can see that in all of Tarantino's films. Jackie Brown is a reference to all the movies that came before, like detective films, mystery films. He plays a lot of homages to black filmmakers in that film. The Hateful Eight is a Western.
Yep, straight up.
Pulp Fiction, again, like, he loved like Columbo and all those detective films.
Yeah,
that's his version of that.
Dogs is an homage to like any heist movie.
Exactly.
Prior to 1995.
Exactly. So there's a thing, like, I'm not going to sit here and say like there are filmmakers who don't love film. I mean, Michael Bay comes to my mind, but I don't know. I've never listened to his interviews. But there is something about filmmakers who truly do love the medium, truly do love films, that usually make the better films. I have this theory that there's two things that can really, as an artist, that you can do to make better work, to really be better when you're being creative, to make, just be a better artist. And those are, one is experience life. Take what you know about your life, what you witness personally, your experiences, and put them into film. Because if you try to create other people's experiences. I'm not saying you can't. They're always going to be a little bit more disingenuous than something that you've taken from your own life or pulled from things you've seen or experienced. The second is watch films. Like, that is a thing, like, writers are told too. You have to read to be a writer. You have to watch films to be a good filmmaker. And I think Hot Fuzz, is a representation of that. I'm not going to go through the rest of the movie, because the rest of the movie would just be me quoting all the jokes. But anyway,
they foil the plot.
Yes, pretty much. So it's a fish out of water film too. Nicholas Angel is getting used to the town. There's a secret organization. Talk about conspiracies from earlier. There's a secret organization. I think the best punchline too is like Nicholas Angel does all his police work, tries to like find all the motives, and then their motives is like they just want their town to look pretty. And it's so good. The greater good, yeah, like it's so quotable. And then the last 30 minutes of Hot Fuzz is literally an action-packed thrill ride.
A phenomenal.
It is.
It's so well done. It's so well choreographed. Like it looks great. Like sometimes you see stuff like this and like it can be like a break of the immersion because of like silly things. Perhaps they spent too much on set pieces, so their CGI looks a little weird or whatever.
Yeah.
It is perfect. Like it is just like a greatly choreographed last like 30 minutes of the movie.
It really is. And the last thing I do want to talk about, like in the story wise, is I think is something I've actually written papers about in college, and I think is something so simple, so clever. About this movie, about the climax of this film, is Nicholas Angel is fighting metaphorically for the town, over the town, over the model town. Literally, he is literally and metaphorically the final scene, the final action piece, the climax of the film is the protagonist and antagonist fighting on top of a smaller version of the town that they have been fighting in for the entire movie. It is so simple. It is so clever. It is so well done. Like, it is just, every time I see that, it is so, it's just brilliant. It's so simple, but so brilliant that, like, it is, even in that fight scene, like, visually, that comedy is coming through. It's absolutely
hilarious.
amazing.
It is a very well done set piece. And they set it up right from the beginning. Like, the first thing they show you when you get into this village is the small town.
Yeah.
And
you find
that's
the model home.
exactly where the story concludes. They're fighting over the town.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other thing, the last thing I want to say really about the film is that Edgar Wright got this idea while working at a superstore in his small town. So kind of goes back to my idea, like taking from your experiences. He combined the two. He took from his experiences. He dreamed of this film when he was working in a supermarket as a kid in the small town, and he took his love for action films and created Hot Fuzz, which is, I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't see...
You can really feel it.
You can. It is a love letter to action films. He didn't do this because he felt like he had to do this for like he wasn't like, oh, I have to put out a movie. Like, this was a movie he needed to put out, like,
it was
personally.
Like a passion project.
Exactly. It's like
thinking about for
ages.
Who knows how long.
Exactly. It's like going back all the way to 8.5, that movie, that lost episode.
Yeah.
Which was like, you don't have to make movies. Well, Edgar Wright had, like, he made this film because,
the poetry.
Like, yeah. So yeah, anything else to say about Hot Fuzz? Like, just watch it.
8.5 is our only missing episode.
But it's like the most one we reference the most because of how brilliant it is.
I just think it's funny because, like, the whole premise of it is like, you don't have to do a thing, and then we just didn't do a thing. Now we just didn't do that. It just doesn't exist.
We did it. Like, it like exists kind of, but like other than that, it's like not there. It's not a thing. That is.
Yeah. Anyway, I did just want to say like this is like an example of how people should attack the filmmaking process.
Yeah.
Like from your heart, from something that you really care for. Like the poetry of this story that you've just told me about him, like being a young man thinking about this idea, and then it's like this wasn't his first movie.
No,
right?
Shaun of the Dead. Well, he did Spaced. That was the movie I was trying to remember when we were talking about Scott Pilgrim. Not the movie, the TV series that he did in the late 90s, early 2000s with Simon Pegg. But then Shaun of the Dead was his first big movie. It's the first Cornetto trilogy. That's like the movie that got him international fame. Like Spaced was big in England. Shaun of the Dead was his first. That's also an homage to zombie films.
Right. I just think, like, it must have just been such a gratifying thing for him to, work his way up through the industry and get a nice funding under him and be able to, like, pitch this and have it work out. And then, that's just awesome. Congratulations, Edgar Wright, on being able to create and then following through and creating.
Right, and then
so cool.
His next film is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So Hot Fuzz got him Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
That's awesome.
Like, and I will say Hot Fuzz, I will say this, if last episode we talked about how people might not like Scott Pilgrim because of the editing, if you didn't like Scott Pilgrim because of the editing, Hot Fuzz is like 1,000 times more chaotic.
Yeah,
like in the editing. It is like, yeah, you're probably not going to like it, which I totally understand. It is a very, like, even sometimes I'm like, okay, this is like crazily edited, like the whips and the zooms. Like he loves his whips and his zooms. And you get a lot of them. All right, so for anyone new here, this is the last part of the episode where we ruin the movie. We ruined the movie by
letting you ruin the movie.
By letting you guys ruin the movie. Over in our Discord, which you can join below, either in my channel or in Shayne's channel. Every week we post 2 polls for the next episode. Those polls tell us if we have to remake, prequel, or sequel. We have to write it as a remake, prequel, or sequel in the genre of your choices, which is also another poll. So let me pull those polls up, see what we are doing. If we have to remake it.
Great.
As a blockbuster noir. All right.
Oh, like a complete remake?
Complete remake.
New cast and everything?
Yep. As a remake, as a blockbuster noir. So for those who don't know what those mean, blockbuster is like Michael Bay. Yeah, or it's like Mission Impossibles or Fast and Furiouses. Like, those are blockbuster movies. Those are movies that will come out. They'll make a lot of money despite if they are really good or bad. That's kind of how I define blockbusters. Like, they have a lot of funding from their studio because they will be good. Well, they won't be good, but they will make money.
Yeah.
They are on the big screen. They are your summer releases. And then noir is one of the oldest forms of filmmaking, which is traditionally black and white. Noir is like a weird genre because it's mostly referred to how it's lighted, how the lighting is done in the film, which is usually done by found lighting. So you're not going to have like the big lights on. It's going to be dark. You're going to have lots of whites and blacks in regards to coloration, and it's always like a detective film. It's a detective, The Maltese Falcon, Double Entendre,
Sin City.
Casablanca, Sin City, are all noirs. So, actually, a blockbuster noir of Hot Fuzz. First of all, let's figure out who's directing this. I don't think it's going to be as good as if Edgar Wright directed it, but like, what action director do we think should be directing this remake of Hot Fuzz? Somehow, for some reason, in 2021, some big studios are finally realizing how good Hot Fuzz it is, how good Hot Fuzz is. Instead of giving Edgar Wright money for a sequel, they're like, we're gonna remake this for an American audience.
It's got to be the Russo brothers.
The Russo brothers, okay.
Like, I think, just like Avengers level. Extremity.
Like, okay, so yes. So we'll say it's like a Marvel style blockbuster. So that means we have to have some big names. Who is playing Nicholas Angel? My vote is Tom Cruise.
Tom Hardy.
Okay. Tom Hardy, yes. Tom Hardy is now Nicholas Angel, yes. The real question is, who is Nick Frost's character? Who is going to be
Melissa McCarthy. Wait, no.
I hate this.
Did I just nail it?
Yeah, you did. You really did just nail it, because that is the 2021 blockbuster equivalent of Nick Frost. So we have Tom Hardy as Nicholas Angel. We have
Wait a second.
Melissa McCarthy.
Should Tom Hardy actually just be Jason Bateman?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, Jason Bateman is Nicholas Angel. Melissa McCartney is now it's now Nick Frost's character.
They're just always together.
Danny. Which I guess Danny could be a female name too. I think same setup, but like obviously this isn't Edgar Wright directing it, so instead of 6 minutes it takes to set up who Nicholas Angel is, it takes like 45 minutes. And it really focuses really hard on his failing relationship in London. Like way too long, like we get too much. Like Edgar Wright does it so good where it's like a really funny joke and like we find out he's dedicated to his work, but like we really find out he's dedicated to his work in the longest way. And it takes like 30 minutes to set up the film. He's probably like, this is a blockbuster by Russo's. He's probably like, kind of has the Tony Stark thing going on. He's probably like an alcoholic too now for some reason. When he gets to the small town is probably like a mini city.
It's just Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. We have God, the person Melissa McCartney as Danny is now like even more aloof for some reason, and like even like she like I guarantee the first scene she's in, she sits on a chair and it breaks, because I feel like that's just like a Melissa McCartney thing that happens in all of her films.
I don't know why, but I keep thinking that like David Kushner. You know who I'm talking about.
I think so.
He's Packer from The Office.
Oh my god, he has to be one of the detectives.
One of the Andys? That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, one of the Andys, and then Will Ferrell is the other Andy. And they're even meaner for some reason in this hot version of Hot Fuzz. They're like even more cruel. I love the Andys in the original Hot Fuzz though.
Oh yeah, dude.
And they're not as clever. I guess one of my favorite detectives is, oh god, what is her name? It's the female detective
in this
in Hot Fuzz. Yeah, Doris. Like the one who's always making the innuendos.
Yeah.
Like it could be my favorite joke actually in Hot Fuzz is when they're all in the superstore and they're in the superstore in the climax where everyone's fighting and she smacks the fucking assistant, the female assistant, and she just turns around and says, everyone likes to love like a girl on girl, and just like it goes to everyone's face as they're just like crying, laughing in like the most dramatic ways. Who's replacing her? I feel like who's always with Melissa McCartney? She was in Bridesmaid on Saturday Night Live.
Tina Fey.
No, which she would be good, but she was also
my next guest would have been Sandra Bullock.
Kristen Wiig, I think.
Oh, Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, she was in Wonder Woman, right? That's the person I'm thinking of?
She's in Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's in Justice League, yeah.
Yeah.
And Bridesmaids, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's funny, but I think she would be a good replacement for Doris. Will Arnett, yes, Will Arnett. I think Will Arnett is the detective who, the first shot we see, which again, another clever thing by Edgar Wright is we have the one detective who is very bad at his job. Is the first shot we see, he's sitting in front of a whiteboard, and you have like a mind web going out of it of all of his characteristics. Like it's great. He's definitely playing. Oh god, actually, I think Will Arnett has to be one of the Andys. I think that's his role. I think maybe. We have Packard and then Will Arnett, and then Will Ferrell definitely has to be in there somewhere. Maybe he will.
He could be the farmer that talks all crazy.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Oh
You
my
ever
god.
seen the video on Funny or Die of the landlord? Where his
Yes,
hair is like
yes,
really big. Will Ferrell's hair is like really big.
yes, yes. Oh my god, that's hell yeah. And then on that note, I think the detective, the old guy who no one understands, that's William Dafoe.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Does that mean that Robert Pattinson's the bad guy?
Yeah, he's Skinner, 100%. Anthony Hopkins is the priest.
Easy.
Easy.
Oh, who's the scummy reporter?
Oh, Tim Messenger. I love Tim Messenger. He kind of feels like a Jake Gyllenhaal character to me.
Jake Gyllenhaal, that would be amazing.
I don't know why. Maybe because I was been thinking about Nightcrawler lately.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that. Actually, we're gonna watch Nightcrawler for next week. We'll do Muppets later. We're gonna watch Nightcrawler because I've been wanting to watch it.
Okay.
It's on Netflix.
I just feel like you could just squeeze Fred Armisen in here anywhere, and
Oh, okay.
He just has that look.
All right. Will Arnett is for some reason now Melissa McCartney's dad. Fred Armisen is the bad guy, the cop who is just bad at his job, who has a Spider-Man face paint at it. And it's because this is a blockbuster noir. I still feel like we have the comedy in it, but it's like blockbuster comedy, so it's not as clever. It's noir too, so it's gonna be like I feel like almost kind of like Sin City. It's not gonna be as like great as a noir as like the older ones.
It'll feel like British humor probably because it'll be real serious, but it'll be trying to be a little funny.
Yeah, and then it just plays through. It's no, and it sets up a sequel at the end. For some reason, for some stupid reason, we find out like it's not only is the town being controlled by the NWA, which I think is so funny, but it's now all of the UK is somehow being controlled by these shadow governments, and that is what they're setting up for Hot Fuzz.
Just zooms out to the global view, and you've just got like little circles of people everywhere.
Oh my god. Okay, so my question is, I think a big part of Hot Fuzz being so great is the music, like the Fratellis, and
absolutely.
Like I think just pretty much like Edgar Wright has great music taste. Let me see what is the soundtrack to Hot Fuzz? It's great. XTC, the Fratellis, Eels, the Fratellis pops up a lot. Supergrass, the Trogs, the Kinks. Like, what are the replacements? I feel like it's more of like a butt rock vibe. And for those who don't know, like butt rock, I'm like talking about like Def Leppard.
Okay.
Like Def Leppard and like hair rock.
Yes, I completely agree. Hair rock. Or depending on like how this movie plays out, possibly like a combination of both, but like have this like tune Kiss. In my mind. The only thing I can do is play it out.
All Kiss. Oh, dude, it's like, dude,
you know, like like noir detective, weird stuff. Yeah.
And I think it's as the original. At the end of the day, the original Hot Fuzz is a 10 out of 10. This blockbuster remake, is like a 5 out of 10.
Correct, but
it has all the same characters.
It will exceed its budget.
It will, exactly, and it will get sequels for some stupid reason.
Because you all spend money on it. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my god. Blockbuster Cornetto trilogy. Shaun of the Dead is now directed by Zack Snyder. The World's End is now directed by David Fincher.
Oh my god.
And we got it. All right, chat. Anything you guys have to add to what would be the blockbuster remake? Grumble says the soundtrack is just all Kiss, which I could also see.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we already kind of established that. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna say setting.
Setting. I think it's in America now. I kind of like Detroit.
Yeah.
Maybe
I was thinking like they get sent from like
Chicago?
NYPD or Chicago or something.
To like it could even be like Detroit to like Ann Arbor.
Oh, that would be funny. Or like Windsor to Detroit.
Crossing the border from going from a Canadian, or it would be the other way. There'd be an American cop, and then they would go to the Canadian office. Actually, yes,
That'd
that's
be
what
so
it is.
much better. They
That's-
have to go to like small town Canada.
They gotta transfer. Nicholas Angel. Oh my god, because of course any blockbuster Detroit is gonna show it in like a really stupidly negative, like gritty way. And then he's gonna go to across the bridge to Windsor and just see my god. I want to make that movie now. Just so good. Oh
Let's start filming tomorrow.
yeah, oh, that's so good.
I will tweet Fred Armisen tonight.
Yeah, I'll start calling all my contacts. Okay. And then obviously like I feel like the like we don't learn like the whole like twist until later in the Hot Fuzz. I feel like we learn it like immediately. There's probably like the first scene probably isn't even like Nicholas Angel. It's probably like the secret organization meeting, like kind of like as a flashback or something. Oh my god. Oh, I think that's it. It's ruined. It's awful. It's ruined.
You did it. You did it, audience.
Audience who made us
You
ruin
made
Hot
us do
Fuzz.
this.
I hope you guys
You
liked it.
basically held a knife to my throat.
Yeah.
Made me make this movie bad.
Yeah. Next week we're watching Nightcrawler. I think Nightcrawler will actually be like a nice change of pace. Because I feel like Nightcrawler is the. Have you seen it?
Yes,
Okay.
and I will actually commit to watching this one again
Yeah,
because
this
I've
one's
only
really good.
seen Nightcrawler
I've only seen it once.
maybe once or twice. I hesitate to say twice. I know I've for sure seen it once.
Yeah. I think it'll be from what I remember, it is a slower paced, like slower.
It's awesome.
It's really good. I think it's
I
one of Jake
really
Gyllenhaal's.
like Jake Gyllenhaal. So I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember, but a mutual friend of ours and I used to have movie nights, and we we just watched Jake Gyllenhaal movies
Yes.
every night until he went to the Marines.
Hell
like,
yeah.
for like 6 weeks.
Dude,
This was one of them.
Jake Gyllenhaal is absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
He's one of my favorite actors. So, and I mean, Nightcrawler is fantastic. So we'll watch that. Like I said, good change of pace because that movie is has a much slower burn to it.
yeah. First time
and
watchers, the editing won't hurt your brain.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of real. I remember I remember it being like a lot of really beautiful slow shots of just night. And it's not an X-Men film for anyone who's like, oh, we're gonna watch an X-Men film for next week. No, it's called Nightcrawler, but it has nothing to do with a blue guy with a tail.
No, it's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it, so buckle up.
Yeah, it's intense. All right. So that was Ruining Movies, the Hot Fuzz episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. That was a blast.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for next week. We don't have really that much to talk about next week. Like, we don't have any TV shows. We don't have any movies coming out. So hopefully there's a lot of news in the next week.
Yeah, well, good news, hopefully. I'd like to see a couple of trailers drop this week. That'd be sweet. Just give us something.
Yeah. Thank you, Grumble Now. He said, "Great,
Thanks,
listen. You guys are
bud.
doing great. You're
Appreciate
great.
you coming out.
Yeah, thank you guys all for coming out.
Yeah.
This conversation has been great. I know we're both trying to bring chat into these episodes more because honestly, you guys are what makes this podcast so great. Like what you guys say. I love hearing all your input. I love that you guys vote on the things so we can make it. It's really you guys. It wouldn't be a podcast without you guys. So thank you guys. Yeah. And if you are watching this future Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, you can find it either at twitch.tv/farmgoat or twitch.tv/bringtheshayne. Those are our two channels. Shane, let's do plugs and then get out of here. Like, get out of here, I mean, we're going to go play for the king.
Okay, yeah, I'm Bring the Shayne. You can catch me live at twitch.tv/bringtheshayne. If you like what you see, go to Discord and communicate with us. We're great. Come have fun. Vote on our polls.
Yeah.
You know, also there's another podcast that Farm Goat's about to tell you about.
Yeah, hi everyone. That's me. My name's Zach or Farm Goat. That works. Did I introduce our also as host this podcast? I don't think I did.
No, I didn't do the thing where I point at myself and say, that's me.
All right, so if you've listened all the way through and you don't know our names, hi, my name is Zach. My other co-host is Shane. I forgot to do that. Anyway, you can find, like I said, you can find me at twitch.tv/farmgoat. I play on a bunch of roleplay servers, so if you want to watch stories about that. My newest character actually is based off of the guy from Nightcrawler, and he's a psychopath. And that's GTARP, so come check that out. I also have a channel called FarmGoat Plays, which this podcast will no longer be on that channel. So if you go to FarmGoat Plays, you can see a bunch of me and Shane playing games together, and a bunch of me playing other games that infuriate me. Ruining movies now for all those watching live. For you guys watching in the future, Ruining Movies now has a YouTube page. You can find it. It's called Ruining Movies. It has our logo on it. It took me 73 hours to upload all of our episodes up to it. They are not out yet. They're not released yet. They'll be releasing all May 1st. But you can find all those live episodes on Ruining Movies starting May 1st. Along with that, I have uploaded them all to Spotify. So in a couple days, they should get past Spotify's making sure we're not doing evil things in our podcast. So you should be able to listen to it, the audio version of this podcast, on Spotify. So if you want to listen to us in the car or while you're doing other stuff, you can now listen to our voices doing that. Then last but not least,
the nefarious thing we've done is flame Zack Snyder
and Disney.
And Disney.
Yeah, that's fine. They can take it. And then our other podcast, Survival Check, is a D&D 5th edition podcast where me, Shane, and our co-host Anderson, and our other co-host Tevis, who keeps getting eaten by the animals, talk about the monsters of the 5th edition Monster Manual. Each episode we go into a monster of that week, of that episode. We're going from A to Z. We are currently on Cloakers. It is a blast. If you are looking to enhance your games by learning more about the monsters you're using in them, it's a good resource for that. But it's also funny. If you think we're funny here and like our voices, we're equally as funny, maybe even funnier sometimes on Survival Check, because there's not a live audience. So we really go off the rails sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. We usually just think, the editor will take care of this. And
I'm the editor. I don't. I used to, but now I don't.
Survival Check is us, just uncut.
Yeah, really. You can find that on Spotify soon. That YouTube page is also getting updated. So expect that soon so you can watch the videos of that. It's not going to be our faces, but it has a nice little visual. So the YouTube will be updated. Spotify is also going to be updated. We're a couple episodes behind, but I finally finished those up. Been doing my producer job, so those will be out soon. And then the last thing I really have to talk about is my YouTube channel, where I review movies and trailers kind of by myself. They're just 60-second clips, much shorter, not as funny. Was Farm Goat Says. I am currently rebranding it. I'm doing a lot of rebranding stuff right now, so the new name will be out soon for it, and that will be a lot more active. But right now it's Farm Goat Says, so go check that out if you want more in-depth. More in-depth, I want to say academic, but not really. Academic takes on movies. Because I think we are pretty intelligent here. Sometimes. But that's it. One last thing. I need to, have a big whiteboard, behind my computer.
How many YouTube channels do you have?
No, that's it. I only have Survival Check 4. I
was right! Oh my god, that was a shot in the dark!
I have Survival Check, Ruining Movies, Farm Goat Plays, and then Farm Goat Says, which I think it's going to be named Off Center Entertainment, because that sounds more like it's a movie thing than Farm Goat Says. But 4. I currently have 4. Four YouTube channels, 2 podcasts, 1 live stream. Pandemic got me to me.
That's a thing every day.
That's a thing. That is pretty much a thing every day. I'm trying to make this all work because that is my background and I have a degree in it.
Dude, you're killing it.
Thanks. I've been doing a lot of work, so hopefully.
Thank you for letting me ride your coattails.
Hell yeah, we're going to the moon.
To the moon.
The whole idea is if I shotgun a bunch of content out of there, something will stick.
Hopefully, I'm attached to one of those.
Absolutely. If we're going together. This isn't a solo journey.
Spider-Man in Infinity War, accidentally going to space.
Exactly.
You're famous now. No, you're a stowaway.
Hell yeah. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. After every podcast episode, we usually hang out for like another 2 hours, hour and a half, and play video games. So this week we're playing For the King. So if you're still here listening,
it's gonna be a banger. We had a lot of fun with it last week.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the episode. Bye.
Bye.